You guys gotta watch this video, okay? Y'all gotta watch this video. Two young black kids selling lemonade. Two young black boys selling lemonade. And what happens, like you see in the video title, the cops was called on them. Well, the cops called on them because they were trying to do a Cash App scam, as some people have done, trying to steal, trying to, do whatever. No, they were calling them because they were two young black boys. That's why. Let's hit play, hear what they got to say.
Two young brothers in Kansas City, Kansas just wanted to sell lemonade this summer. What happened when police were called to their stand is a story you are going to want to see. KCTV5's Zach Fisher has more.
Jakai and Perez Reese have been selling lemonade here on 33rd and Webster for years. But this week, when life gave them lemons, Kansas City's finest made sure they sold every cup. It all started with a 911 call, one police haven't heard before. Someone notifying them about two boys selling lemonade on the corner. But when Kansas City, Kansas police and firefighters arrived, they didn't shut the stand down. They became its best customers. Officer Morgan Reed was among the first to pull up during the afternoon shift.
I was calling everybody, yeah. I was just calling everybody, hey, make sure you guys stop by the lemonade stand. And then just whenever they were busy, a couple people were able to swing by.
Those calls worked. When all is said and done, the boys sold more lemonade and Kool-Aid fruit to dozens and dozens of officers in about 30 minutes.
Wow. Can you believe that? You guys remember Tamir Rice? If you don't know who Tamir Rice is, well, this is some information for you, okay? It says here, the killing of Tamir Rice. On November 22nd, 2014, Tamir Rice, a 12-year-old African-American boy, was killed in Cleveland, Ohio by Timothy Loehmann, a 26-year-old white patrolman with the Cleveland Division of Police. Rice was carrying an airsoft gun, okay? So I think he was like in a park somewhere, all right? As you can see here, it says Loehmann shot him almost immediately upon arriving on the scene. A 12-year-old named Tamir E. Rice, gunned down, okay? Was there any justice? Is there justice for our boys, okay? Or for our mothers, our sisters, okay? Like Sandra Bland, who was hung, and they said that she hung herself? No. So you're blowing this out of proportion, brother. It was a happy ending. I'm here to give you the full scope of what's going on here, all right? There are a lot of stupid people online, a lot of idiots and dummies that don't care or love people at all, all right? And when they see somebody like me come online and say, well, you know what? This has to stop. We need to get information out and speak the truth. All right, God calls us to speak the truth. They say, shut up. We don't want to hear about that, because they don't care, nor do they love black folks, black kids. They're not concerned in order to touch their heart at all when they hear about an innocent person being murdered or killed, especially if it's because of their race. They care less about that, about their race. All right, because it's not happening to me, so it doesn't matter. When I see a story about these two young boys, which I'm about to go back to, all right, they were selling lemonade. All right, and the cops were called on them. Why? Were the cops calling them because they were committing a crime? No. Were the cops calling them because they were trying to run a scam? No. All right. You know how many times I've heard, you can look up online, how many times I've heard of young black boys selling water all across these 50 states? And as they were selling water, which has less setup than a lemonade stand, because when you sell water, you're just selling water from a 24 pack or whatever you get, okay? Whereas then you have a lemonade stand, you have an actual stand. Most of the time, both of these don't have a permit, all right? But a lemonade stand has a huge setup, whereas selling water doesn't. But how many times have we heard over the past few years cops being called on black boys selling water, all right? And that's what I'm bringing up here to Tamir Rice, because the cops were called on him because he was walking around with a toy gun, all right? And they decided, you know what? Someone said, let's call the cops on him. All right, let's call the cops on him. He's black. He's a criminal. They called the cops on because they wanted him to be shot, and that's exactly what happened, and he died. It took his life. They called the cops on these boys. The cops could have came, and they could have been racist cops, and those boys could have died. But it was because of the hand of God that did not happen. You understand what I'm saying?
When all is said and done, the boys sold more lemonade and Kool-Aid fruit to dozens and dozens of officers in about 30 minutes.
Grape, and I think that was blue raspberry.
It totaled $280. But for Perez and Jakai, it wasn't about the money.
They gave us like some stickers. They gave us a lot of things. And I used it on my shirt, and then they was like, now you're an official police officer.
Officer Reed liked it so much, she came back Thursday, spending another chunk of change. She says moments like this are exactly what community policing is supposed to look like. And for Perez, the motivation behind the stand goes beyond the badge stickers.
I just wanted to help the homeless and buy me a new e-bike because that has been my dream since I was little.
He wanted to get a new e-bike. All right. Looking at this picture, I said, man, I think this picture ain't R.I.P. I mean, say you being hyperbolic, and no, I'm not. You stretching, no, I'm not, because that's what the United States has shown us. All right, this kid is still alive, thank God. And I pray to God that he gets a new e-bike. All right, that cop did exactly what she was supposed to do. Remember, the cop's job is to protect and serve. Protect you and serve you. The United States government job is to protect and serve you. All right, not to stop you down. Okay, the police's job is not to kill and murder minorities, black people, whoever they can, or Mexicans. That's not their job. But they have been turned into something like that, all right, by the powers that be. And racist people that have joined the police force have used that position to take people's lives, to kill minorities, okay? Because, yes, there are people that are part of the KKK that also join the police force. There are people that are part of the Proud Boys, whatever group you can find, whatever race group you can find, that also are police officers. Okay, I was just out the other day and I saw a bunch of new police officers being trained on the street. All right, so there's always people joining the police force, and not all of them are good folks. A lot of them are bad actors, as people would say. Okay, too many of them, I should say, are bad folks that should never be in a position to protect and serve. You understand what I'm saying? That they take the job so they can live out their fantasies and not get arrested. All right, of killing innocent people, and also so they can make money. That's basically why they take the job. Not all of them, but too many of them, I should say. It's still a minority, but it's still too many of them. All right. This woman, this female police officer, okay, who caused them to make this money because she made the call, the righteous call, the right call, to say, hey, let's help these boys out. Not only did she stand up against racism, all right, and she saw the racism that was being launched against them, said that's not right. All right. But she helped them, and she did exactly what cops are supposed to do. I remember years ago, I didn't go there all the time, but a few times I went to my local PAL, okay, which stands for the Police and Athletic League. All right. And I remember going to my local PAL years ago. All right. Actually, me and my little brother, we had some friends that were going there all the time. And I guess you could bring a friend or whatever. So we would go there with them from time to time. And it was always fun. And I always thought to myself, when I used to see the cops there, I remember there was one guy there was a black cop who was there. And I could always see on the cop's face that he just was happy to be there with the kids. And he was like a father figure, okay? I thought to myself, this is what the cops are actually supposed to be doing. All right. Also, because of that, if kids hang around cops, or when they're younger, good cops, I should say, when they're younger, and I shouldn't have to say that, but I have to say that, all right, when they're younger, when they get older, they won't have a hate against cops because they can say, well, look, I've been around good cops before. Not all cops are like the ones that they show on TV. You understand what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, the police's job is to protect and serve. All right. And we have here PAL, their job is they're not only protecting and serving, but they're also, you see PAL, you can say it stands for protect and lead, okay, because they're leading generations, okay, into basically being a good citizen, to say the least, based on American standards, what America would say we should do, okay, which is to be a good model citizen. All right, PAL to me is a great organization. All right, and this woman showed the tenets of PAL, and being a good person by calling the other police officers to say, come and support them. Come and support these boys.
Use the money for my nephew and niece inside. I was going to use the money to buy them diapers and stuff.
Not a bad squeeze for a couple of kids just trying to make a difference.
Ain't that something, y'all? Just trying to make a difference. Trying to buy things for their family. Trying to buy things, for those that are in need, which is what they said. And somebody called the cops on them. They called 911 on them. All right. This is what racism creates. Hate for no reason at all. That's what racism is. It's hate for no explain or good reason. All right. That's what it should say in dictionary. Hate for no good or explain reason. All right. You see somebody that's darker than you? Let's call the cops on them. Why? because TV told you that black people are bad? TV told you that black kids are all evil? What if I, as a black person, followed everything that I heard about white people? Okay. Well, I would say all white people are racist. All white people, I mean, look at what they've done to my fathers. Going back a few generations, they had us all enslaved for 400 years. White people cannot say that black people had them enslaved for 400 years, can they? No. All right. But who has more racism? Many white folks do, which is hard to understand. You would think to be hard to understand that. Why is it that y'all fathers have done much worse to us than we've done to y'all, yet y'all have so much hate for us? Okay. Think about that. Y'all fathers set us back financially a great deal. That I can go back a few generations and find a slave. I can go back 3 generations or so and find a slave in my family. White people cannot do that. Mexicans cannot do that here in the USA. Puerto Ricans, pick any race, they cannot do that. But black people, we're the only ones who can do that in this nation, which is supposed to be and it is the most prosperous nation still. We're the only ones that can do that. And we receive all this hate. Why? Because the news from the same evil, demonic nation, America, okay, that has enslaved our forefathers, now every single day searches high and low to find any black person that's committed a crime, which that's what they do. And when they that's one thing that is a film that came out years ago. It's called Nightcrawler. And in that movie, the guy in that movie who was basically trying to find incidents and stuff, he searches for incidents. He makes a good point. He says, or I think it was either him or the woman who he was hired to work for. She said something like, if it bleeds, it leads. And we're looking for the most grotesque story. All right. And that's what we're going to put on TV. The most grotesque thing, the thing that'll get people to be, incensed. Bringing up black people in a nation that is racist already. That has racist history, I should say, at the very least. Pulling a black kid. His story of him, stealing or whatever, or any kind of crime, putting that on TV day after day. All right. Which is what you see on the news. And not giving a proper view of what's really going on by showing the black people that are doing the good things. Now, they do show black people doing good things from time to time, but it's nowhere near the ratio, okay, of the amount of black people that do evil things. You say, well, that's because black people are too busy doing evil things, which is not the case. It's just the way that the news portrays us. You understand what I'm saying? Just like people will say, not all cops are racist doing crimes, which is true. But if you watch the way the news reports it, at times, whenever the media wants to push these topics, it will seem like every cop on the road is racist. I mean, every cop in the USA is racist, which is not the case. All right. So it goes both ways. But a lot of people think, well, it sounds nice, brother, but at the end of the day, I know black people. Do you know all black people? Do you know the majority of black folks? Like, for example, a lot of people think that all black folks curse, all right, or say God blank over and over again, all right. I'm over 30 years old. Just say I'm over 30 years old, okay? I've never in my life went around cursing. Never in my entire life. Never. And a lot of my friends are just the same way, okay? But if you watch TV, you would think that all black people just curse all the time, okay? That we're this godless beast that just curse and have no understanding of right and wrong. And then we're the lowest basis of society, the lowest people in society. All right. I hear about black people being mistreated and black people being treated racist in other nations, like Japan and other nations where many times they're being treated terribly by society. It's because of the American reporting of black people. Okay. It's majorly because of that. It's, of course, movies and other things that we ourselves create, showing ourselves to be super ghetto and ratchet, doesn't help. But the true reason why people see this way is because of the reporting. All right. And that's in this video, y'all. Thank God for good cops. Thank God for people like the woman. Let's see if I can pull her up again. Like this woman right here who would say, you know what? We're going to buy that lemonade. Because I remember when I was younger, I had lemonade stand with my sister. All right. And there were Mexicans working on different houses in the area. And we would go around there and set up a lemonade stand. Lemonade is probably the worst thing you could drink when it's hot outside, number one, when it's super hot outside. Outside drinking salt. And we had them because when you drink lemonade, it makes you thirsty. You still thirsty, you need to get more, okay? which was a good business plan for us anyway. But because basically it was raking in the dough for kids, you know what I mean, at the end of the day. But yeah, y'all. I just think we used to sell lemonade, and I can't imagine someone would have called 911 on us. You know, maybe someone did. I don't know. But at the end of the day, there have been thousands of reports in the USA of people calling the cops on black kids. And this is another one for selling water at an intersection. Selling water. You can't even, you say, get these kids off the streets, do this, do this, that. They gotta stop doing all this kind of stuff. They gotta learn to make money and be productive. And then when they do that, what do? You call the cops on them. That's the mindset of America. It's an evil, demonic mindset. Before we get out of here, I'm gonna go to the comments real quick, and then we're gonna roll out, okay? If you're watching this on your phone, you may need to zoom in, okay? The comment we see here first says, I hope whoever called has to watch these two young men thrive. Next one, miserable people in this world. Next one, that's how you support your community. Props to those officers and firefighters. Next one, he deserves his own shop after this. Bless him. Next one, why don't kids go outside anymore and do kid stuff? And then we see here, when kids go outside and do kid stuff, basically saying this is what happens, okay? Next comment, you must have a real sad life to call 911 on kids selling lemonade. Okay, we'll stop right there. I want to thank you guys for watching. All right, have a blessed day. God bless. Peace.